to the Creators Outlet, brand new special edition, episode 360. I need a hobby. Oh, wait, I've got a hobby. These things.
Comic books.
Wait, was that? Oh,
Civil War, I saw that.
it's just one of the facts. I've got the original somewhere, but it's just one of the facsimiles because I'm like,
Mm,
I can't afford all these expensive books. I'll just get like the $3 versions of the facsimiles with the original letters, pages, and ads, and
yep.
you know.
No, I have most of the entire Civil War run, but they're like beat up reader copies by this point because I've read them to death. So I've got like I think I'm on like 20 or so issues short, and I mean I'm talking all the connected, like almost the entire series. And I've been meaning to track down the rest of them. I just was like, yeah, I'll do it one day.
I traded the guy a short box full of books for that X-Men omnibus that I was telling you about.
Mm,
Uh, he got the better part of the deal. He got um the original Sin storyline from Marvel.
okay, yep,
Had the funny guy that was just like the big eyeball for a head, and I'm
yeah.
like, I swear to God, this guy used to be on the Tick cartoon. I don't know, but he's cool
Oh
looking, and I want
man,
the action figure if I can find it for $5. Um,
right?
so I gave him that run with all the variants I had because there was one version of variants that you could put all the covers together and just made like this one big poster.
Big connecting covers.
Yeah. But it was like they connected to the left, to the right, to the up, to the down.
That's awesome.
And I gave him minus issue one because I didn't know where it was. The entire Hickman version of Secret Wars
Oh,
with all the Battle World miniseries.
wow.
I go,
That's
well,
that's
I'm just gonna get the omnibuses when I can get them for a good price. And then I realized uh, there was a lot more in that complete run than I realized because the fourth omnibus for that just came out. So it was one omnibus that had the main story, and then there's three complete, 1,000-page omnibuses for
yep.
all the miniseries. And I'm like, oh, maybe not.
When I'm a big fan of the original Secret Wars as well, but like
Mhm.
there was something about that Hickman run that was just it really like kind of did something that no Marvel series to my knowledge ever really did. Even though it wasn't a true reset, it felt like a reset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything was gone. It was all just one battle world, and then eventually they resolved it. But it's just like that was the closest thing I think we had to a true reboot in Marvel. And I think that's why it stuck out so much to me over the first one. I mean, you can't get mad at the Beyonder. The Beyonder is freaking awesome, but yeah, 2015 is my favorite Secret Wars.
Who's the best villain in Marvel? Doctor Doom, always. Doctor Doom was the first villain that I ever encountered because I started reading Spider-Man daily in the newspaper. And once in a while you get like a Doc Ock or the Vulture, but 9 out of 10 times it would just be Doctor Doom again and again and again.
And, and sometimes with characters like that, it's easy to get, stale and stagnant. And somehow over the years, Doom has always stayed relevant. They keep adding little bits to like that he does more magic than we realize. He has more science than we realize. He was a sorcerer supreme at one point. Like they just keep like folding in these little extra details and just expanding his lore. Like granted, I mean, it was in Battle World where he was God Emperor Doom, but he literally like made Thanos look like the biggest wimp of all villains of all time. Like, do you have the gauntlet now? I didn't think so. I'll take your spine. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Have a good day. Like, what are you talking about? Like that? What?
Happened. It was it was so good, and I think that was the last run that Hickman did that he didn't quit.
They kind of just let him do that one because that's what I hear. A lot of the issues with Hickman and Marvel is that they'll say, "Here, do whatever you want," and then it's time for him to do whatever he wants. They're like, "Well, actually, that's too original. I need you to, dial it back." Never mind. I'm just gonna leave.
Like, dumb it down a little bit because, like, the thing that struck home and just made me shake my head, and I'm guilty of this, is we have to dumb down the scripts in book, comics, movies, cartoons, because while people are reading or watching or listening to anything, they're also doom scrolling and they can't pay
Mhm.
that much attention. So if you don't get them in like the first 90 seconds,
You lost them
you've
already. It's over.
you've lost them for sure. So tell everybody who you are and why you thought you should make a comic book.
Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Kyle. You might know me as Nerdtween. I'm on social medias pretty much everywhere as Nerdtween. I have been reading and watching nerd properties my entire life. We're going on almost 40 years now of nonstop just reading and watching all these movies to the point where growing up, I was always told, man, you watch too much cartoons, you read too many comic books, all this stuff. And then now I'm using all of that time wasted in and channeling it to write the best story I can. Initially, I was trying to write this story, Here Walks Monsters, as a novel, and I just always saw it as a book. And I got a ways into the book, and then my house got robbed in North Carolina, and
Oh,
they
geez.
stole my hard drive, they stole my computer. This was years ago before like the cloud really existed. So once they stole that, it was over. And then about 5 years ago, I found my roadmap, and it was literally every single stop that the characters are going to make in the entire book, from the journey that starts in South Florida, goes all the way up to the upstate mountains in New York. And something hit me. I was like, you know what? It's time. I'm gonna get back into telling this story. And I initially designed it just to be about the downfall of society and how far human race would fall if society is not literally looking over your shoulder saying this is how you should behave. I feel that majority of people would let loose, and it would be a very dangerous place. And how do you tell that story? Well, you have to have some kind of post-apocalyptic event, and I'm a huge zombie fan, so it kind of like seemed appropriate to kind of like take all of the stuff I've learned from all of the really good and really bad zombie properties over the years. Because even a bad zombie movie, I enjoy. So I just figured, you know what? Let me take the best of all of these worlds, kind of put them into a pot, stir it up, and then come up with this new story. And that's what Here Walks Monsters pretty much is.
It's almost like you looked into the future and knew that New York City was going to be full of zombies this year. Oh, good Lord. So I sat down because I'm in a wheelchair. That's all I do is sit. Um, it's not like I'm running the Boston Marathon or anything. And if I could, I wouldn't. Uh, and I was very confused at things, especially in the issue that you're crowdfunding now, which I can't say anything about till after we're off the air because of it. It's not out yet. So
Right. Well, I mean, technically, issue two has debuted at two separate conventions. My buddy Challenger, he did an exclusive with this guy named Metcalf, who did a Walking Dead homage, and then we were at the Florida SuperCon was it last week or 2 weekends ago. We had an exclusive there as well. So it's technically it is out there, and I've had people review it. We could definitely get into spoilers at some point if you want to, and I'm sure I can answer any questions you might have.
as I'm reading it, I'm getting confused. So here's where I started, where you would start a book series at issue one. And as I'm reading your little snippet on the screen there, you tell like a little bit, a little hint of what's happening, and then you introduce yourself and the artist and the letterer. And all I could think of was 1980s wrestling, Barry Horowitz giving one of these on the patting himself on the back. I'm like, man, this is your first issue. Slow down. Um, so I like the covers that I've seen. Uh, the interior art at points was a little static, but it vastly improves in the second issue.
Yeah.
And what really confused me is I went from reading a page in the second issue to scrolling to the next page, and all of a sudden, I'm reading comments from a podcast.
So, um, I wanted to do that in a very outside the box way of thinking. Like so every single zombie property that takes off or that has any type of weight always kind of resembles the time that it was written. So like you look at like, initially you had the Haitian voodoo zombies, then you had the fear zombies, then you had the nuclear zombies, and now here we are. Mine's you got the pandemic zombies, and I feel like if you're gonna time date it at all, I wanted to date it so that it was clear when it happened, because podcasting is huge now. Everyone's got a podcast. I've got a podcast. What, everyone's sister, 4 years old, they got a podcast. So I wanted it to feel real, like as if the zombie apocalypse happened to us. So like the characters, they kind of figure out what's really going on, and then they decided to go use their platform, their podcast, to try to warn as many people as they could. And we, had like actual comments. People were like, "Oh, one was like, "Oh, I came here just to hear about the supernatural comic, and now they're talking crazy zombies." Or someone was like, "Someone paid them to say this." Like there's kind of like wanted to like have also a little bit of a social commentary of the world we're in, because a great video will still have negative comments. A negative video will still have great comments. There's so many different outlooks that are told through social media now. I wanted to kind of sprinkle a little of that in there before I completely destroyed the world that my characters are running around in.
Well, I think what got me was the fact that you have a podcast. And I'm looking, I go, this is him in his own podcast in an insert in
Oh,
his book.
so I'm not in my book. The main character is loosely based off of me, because they always say you write what you know. So I know about being a short nerd who would love to unleash some rage every once in a while, So that's why it kind of gives off. It's not me for sure, definitely isn't. But the people in that podcast are real people and real podcasters. So I wanted it to, like, anyone who knew those people to be like, oh my god, this feels real, because that's something that they could potentially do. And there's another character in issue 2 that is also a podcaster, and I actually I've interviewed on his podcast for both issues. Like the logo of his podcast can be seen in the background. Like there's a lot of little things that I like to try to like bring in from the real world to just give it that much more authenticity. Even though my world, it's a world like ours, but it's not our world. I had to make sure it's very clear so I don't get sued by everybody.
The other thing, too, was I thought it was your podcast because in the back of the book, you put an ad for your podcast. And I'm like,
Yeah, I did. Now it's funny that that's gonna I use that same ad for both issue 1 and issue 2, and sadly, I'm gonna have to change the ad because, my co-host is actually, taking a step down for a while, so I'm gonna have to refresh in that ad. But that issue 2 is pretty much the only place you'll see, like, true podcasts like that. Like, there will be connection to, like, podcast-esque kind of stuff, for, like, transferring of knowledge, but I not much of the of Here Walks Monsters will take place before the fall, but I wanted to give a little bit, and I've had a lot of people say that issue 2 probably should have been my issue 1 because it just kind of like gets you into the world a lot better. And I'll admit, like you said, the art is a lot better in issue 2, but so is the story because issue 1 was really both of our first time ever making a comic. So I know even though we put everything we had into it, we were still very cautious. Issue 2, I was like, you know what? No, we're doing this. Let's go. And we really like got down to it and what we're going panel for panel, adjusting tiny little things, putting tiny little things in the background. Like issue 2 is almost an it has tons of Easter eggs in it that it's almost an Easter egg in and of itself.
And This people, I know this is the easiest time in the world for anybody to make a comic book, but what made you think that you should make one?
Well, the real reason why I decided and really pushed to do it was because I don't see a lot of representation for certain type characters in my favorite medium, horror. Most of the time, the main characters are the big tough guys, or like the big military guy. I wanted to see short men, a woman who's not only there just to look good and die. Like I saw this opening of lack of representation, and I got tired of just complaining about it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make that representation and I mean, we sold 350 copies of issue 1. We're hoping to do 500 to 1,000 print for issue 2. So, and I'm truly independent. So I've gotten some people to read it. You know what I mean? So if I've had one person get real happy that they see, oh, look, a short guy is not like the butt of the joke in a horror movie. Oh, look, or horror comic. Oh, look, we have an attractive woman. She's not just a damsel in distress. Oh, this is awesome. Because those people exist, and I didn't see that a lot in horror. And I love horror so much. And I felt, you know what? Fine. I'll do it myself. And I'm crazy for doing it. I mean, while you said yes, it is easier, when you talk about physically. You can make the property, send it off to a print shop, boom, it's done. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. You had to like find a publisher. They had to agree to do it. There was no indie, I'm going to print it myself kind of thing like there is now. So it is definitely the easiest time to make it, but doesn't mean it's going to have staying power. Doesn't mean that you're going to be able to make something that anyone wants to read. Anyone can print a comic. Doesn't mean everyone's going to buy a comic.
I've got some from early, early conventions that I've gone to when uh indie indie stuff was big, like in the late 70s through the late 80s, and then it kind of like it fell off. And a lot of it falling off was for the fact that uh from even small press publishers, you could get a book, month after month or sometimes bi-monthly. You'd still get like the next chapter of that book. But with a lot of indie stuff, especially once Capital Distribution went under and Jeppy took over with the evil Diamond Empire,
Mm-hmm.
um, you'd have to you'd have to pitch it to a publisher, and then you'd have to go with that publisher and pay like thousands of dollars to get it listed. And then if
Mm-hmm.
it didn't sell like over 4,000 copies, and you had to have those 4,000 copies already printed up and ready to go,
Right.
opposed to today where there's a bunch of channels um for like smaller distribution.
Hmm.
Um, and some of them you still need like, 5 to 1,500 copies because they're like, yeah, I know there's Filbo distribution, which kind of like picked up the slack from Diamond small press stuff. And they're doing worldwide. There's another distributor, I can't remember their name, but a creator that I talk to on a regular basis. Um, this company puts spinner racks in head shops.
Brilliant.
So he'll have to ship like a pallet of books to him, like literally
Right.
like a pallet of books. And sometimes he'll have to order twice as many as he was planning to because now they've got spinner racks in about 5,000 head shops from coast to coast.
That's
And
awesome.
once people are going in and sampling the goods
Right.
and they see some trippy
Whoa, look how cool this is.
some trippy comic books, and especially if they've got like those 90s gimmicks on the covers,
Hmm.
like the prism, the foil, the lenticular.
Yep. The
After a whippet, you see a lenticular cover, you want to buy them all and just line them up in your
yep.
kitchen or something.
The
It's
freaking die cut. I used to remember
Yep,
those, all those die cut covers.
yep. I just got a new die cut. Um, it was put out by Alien Books, the people that are doing the new Valiant now, and they got the license to do Alex Toth's original black and white Zorro run
Mm.
from Dell Comics from like the 50s.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they colorized it so you could get one just the line work, black and white, or you could get uh remastered, so colored, but they did the palette the way it would look back then.
Mm.
So it came out looking great. It's a hardcover slipcase, but it's a die cut hardcover slipcase, of course, with the Z cutout, and then you
Yeah,
just see Zorro staring you down from behind the die cut Z.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And I'm like, I don't,
And see, that's the thing, man. Comics, there's so many ways to make someone happy with a specific issue, and it can be just something as simple as a different type of color, whether it's lenticular, whether it's die cut, whether it's embossed, foil. It's so easy to make someone, oh wow, and change their day with a comic book. Granted,
Mhm.
a really bad comic book that you've been waiting and anticipating can make a day worse. But for the most part, if a comic comes across your desk, at some point, it's gonna be a little bit better of a day. You know, just
Usually.
saying.
If you're not paying for it, it turns into a great day.
Right.
But like as much as everybody loves like those 90s gimmicks and even like newer gimmicks, because it's something different, goes, ooh, shiny. Uh, it doesn't make you feel better when publishers and artists and creators turn around and milk that. We
Mm,
haven't fleeced the nerds enough this week. What are we gonna do?
I
Well,
no,
we're gonna
I
beat the
I
we're
agree.
gonna we're gonna beat the numbers. And this month this next issue we're going to have 500 variant covers on Absolute Batman.
No, absolutely, and not for nothing, but I do think that a lot of props to DC for stepping in and at least starting the conversation to like make this a little bit better with the exclusives, because like there are these absolute Batmans that, and I know for a fact that if you work with DC and you do an exclusive with them, they have a minimum of how many you have to print. So, and that minimum is, at least unless they've upped it, is 1,500 per cover minimum. So how is there an absolute Batman with only 300 printed?
the infamous whatnot scam, where stores will do it, and you know for a fact that it's more like 3,000 copies they have to order because most stores will get the pair.
Yeah, the
So you
virgin
get
and
the
the trade.
virgin variant or the chromium virgin variant, whatever it is, and the trade dress. And then they
Yeah,
only sell them together. That way they can charge more money for them. Well, if the cover starts blowing up, then they tell everybody they're sold out,
yep,
and then they spend even more money and import a certain writer to come in on their whatnot streams and start signing them and selling them for thousands of dollars a piece for a
it's crazy.
$3 book.
No, it's absolutely insane, and I think that because anyone who's been around long enough knows that this business, it never is all rise, it never is always all fall. It's a roller coaster, ebbs and flows. Always, that's how it is in all collectibles. When the next crash happens, they're going to be turning around and looking and going, "Did people really spend $17,000 on a single sketch cover?" Absolutely, yes. That actually happened. They
People
spent
really
how
getting
much?
every single issue that they bought graded? Yep.
Yeah.
Because the mentality of the grading market, which, by the way, in my opinion, is 100% a scam, because no two people are going to grade the same book the same way, no matter what your outline for grading books is.
Hmm.
I'm like, do I understand grading? Yes. Do I see the point of it? I see the point of it on key issues for Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, maybe a few others, down the line, and but do I do I think that all this the speculator market is what usually kills all this stuff.
Yep.
And we know when Scott announced he was coming back and he was going to do an absolute Batman, it's something totally different, that there were thousands of people out there ordering like long boxes full of nothing but that issue one. And a lot of those
Hmm.
people got mad because they ordered the cool covers and it was just the standard cover that was worth a bunch of money.
Yep. And what's funny about that is you can never really tell.
No.
Like there's no way to guarantee which is going to be A cover, B cover, C cover. Granted, like it could be just happen to be the hot artist of the time. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Someone
And
who's
that's
done a
that's what it
couple of
usually
covers.
is.
Yeah. And it's just always makes me laugh because it's so arbitrary, and then people try to make it like when like you're at like a convention or you're trying to like maybe like haggle a little bit with someone who's selling a book you want. They always like kind of put their foot down like concrete, like, well, no, the A cover is always worth more. That's not true. Well, this is the B cover. They only made okay. You're talking
Don't
to the
care.
wrong one. You're talking to the
Well,
wrong one. I've been around the block, buddy. Let's go. Like,
the biggest problem with that is the fact that um now you know it used to be the books that were worth money. Now it's not. It's just the covers.
yep,
So Dan Moore is huge right now.
yep,
The DNA covers are huge right now. I know some young cats they're buying everything. I know one kid down in Florida that I talk to all the time. He works a crappy job. He's young, right? Um, just graduated high school like a couple years ago. So he's just working whatever job he can do down in South Florida, and he's working in a restaurant, and he's pulling like extra shifts, double shifts, and now I make jokes with him because he got another friend of ours, another young kid, um, early 20s, uh, got him hooked on the What Crack app. So what I call it now, I go, I've been on there. I know.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't. I was one of the first 100 comic sellers on Whatnot. Like those Invincible covers that they came out with, those exclusives with those names on the back. Nerdtween's one of those names. Like I know all too well the power of Whatnot, and not only that, but the whole concept of live like betting, really, because that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's just so intoxicating that people will overdo it just to say they did, and it's insane to me.
Online auctions are bad enough because then you're staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning to snipe and hope that you get it.
Right.
Which, by the way, that's how I got my hands on 5 high-end copies of Secret Wars 8 about
Oh.
40 years ago. Yeah. Um, I sold one. I still have 4. Plus, I bought like a complete set. Like it's like a reader set. I bought it like found it in an antique store,
Mm.
and some guy had passed away, and his wife contacted a seller and goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you this much for him." And goes, I'm gonna leave them in all the bags and boards that they're in, and I'm gonna just price them and rent a spot at the antique mall, and whatever I get, I'll give you. She's like, okay. Well, he priced them up like they were all brand new,
Mm-hmm.
like they were all in perfect condition. They were not. Uh, and then he priced them up as they were all 9/8, and then discounted them at 90%.
I mean, it's,
I,
it's
I mean,
really
I didn't
funny.
mind because I mean, I got both of Jack Kirby's Superpowers miniseries. I got a full run of Champions. I got a full run of Secret Wars. Excuse me. I got a I got 3 full runs of Legends. So I've got like, 3 first appearances of this one, that one.
Mm-hmm.
The evil Amanda Connor. No, no,
Well,
that's a
see,
creator. That's Jimmy Palmiotti's wife.
and that's the thing. Like back in the day, and I say that like I'm old, but I feel like I am in the comics world. I mean, there were you cared about the creative team,
Yeah.
like like I know some of my most prized possessions are apparently not worth much. It's like the last time Kirby and Stan Lee worked together on Fantastic Four. Last art by Kirby and Fantastic Four. Last Stan Lee on Fantastic Four, and people are like, "Who cares?" I'm like, what do you mean? Who What? I mean, I'm genuine. Like, can you explain what do you mean by that? Like, these are the people who created these properties that now live literally forever, or as long as the human race is, until the sun blows up and all Earth is gone. I mean,
Until Disney murders them all in their
right?
sleep.
But you have all these, and it's maybe coming back a little bit because there's a lot of people that are really back Stephanie Phillips. They really back Tynion, as they should. These are great creators, but like we're starting to see it move back a little bit to like the actual creators or who people are following. Because I know I only read Exquisite Corpses because it was Tynion, and I was like, man, this is a great series, unbelievable. So it's kind of I think it's moving a little bit back towards that, hopefully at least.
I mean, I found it. I got a gold membership on the Global Comics app, and I was very saddened because oh, they've got the entire Invincible on there. I'm up to like volume 7 or something, like the regular trade paperbacks is what they uploaded. And then I get an email yesterday that Image has decided to part ways with Global Comics,
Yep.
probably for their own platform. Go figure. Um, except for um one branding, and it's not Skybound. Uh, which I think is oh, I think it's like Jim, the Wildcat stuff.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Yeah, damn,
Yeah,
I can't think of it either, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
that company. Luckily, because I'm on PR lists for a bunch of publishers, uh, I get sent stuff. Like I get Skybound PDFs like twice a week. I get image releases like twice a week. All I got to do is, make a video, do a write up and review them, and I do
Right.
it, and I get to read them. So, uh, like Image's huge book this week was Terminal,
Yep.
and I read it 2 weeks ago, and it's mind blowing. And now I'm racing through my mind of all the comics I've read since 1974, and so you feel better about not being quite as old as me now. Um, and I'm wondering where he stole this idea from, because Invincible was is a tremendous run, but it's just him repurposing all the superhero tropes,
Right.
and and same thing with some of the other ones. But I did get to read before they took it all down. I haven't read the last two issues of Exquisite Corpses, and I haven't read the Rascal Randy episode yet. But I've got like other apps that I get free access to once in a while.
Yeah, I was a big. I really liked this first season of Exquisite Corpses. The last two issues were absolutely insane. Kind of just like went off the deep end. I
Hmm.
will admit though, I was not very impressed with Rascal Randy. Number one, you know, and I know it's me being too judgmental as a creator myself because like I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was something that looked really really cool but made no freaking sense and was physically impossible. And I'm like, okay, it's cool, but there Exquisite Corpses, there was no magic, right? It's just regular human beings, no superpowers, no super strength. Yeah, then that's impossible. Like, I'm sorry. There's no way that's possible. And I don't understand why I don't see more people talking about it. Like, I haven't made a review yet because I'm kind of just like sitting and watching. Like, when is someone else going to point out how impossible that is? Am I the only one who gives a crap? Like,
He used to, because a buddy of mine and ended up being a manager of the comic shop that I started working at in high school. And then he ended up being the owner because the owner was like, "Yeah, I'm done with the comic thing. So you can either get a real job or you can buy it." And he bought it, and he ran it for almost as long as you've been alive. And then the landlord passed away for the strip mall he was in, and the landlord's wife decided she didn't want anybody not of a certain caliber, so we say,
mm-hmm.
um, in her plaza. So it ended last year, and he had to go out and get a real job again.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah. The one thing that when I'm on the I get the FOC list and everything every week, and the one thing that I thought looked cool, and it was just for a cover, and no, I didn't order it, no, I didn't buy it. Um, was I thought it probably because of my age, I thought it was cool. The bloody Rascal Randy Pez dispenser.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not buying this because I haven't read the series. And then they had only put like from 1 through 11 on Global Comics. So I read up through there, and I read that in like a day and a half.
Yeah, it
I was
definitely
like,
like, there's
I'm
something
like,
about
this is good.
Tynion is great, of course, we all know that. Walsh is amazing, we all know that. But I think what really did it for this book that set this apart so well, Exquisite Corpses, was Jordi Berlair's coloring, because
Hmm.
something about the way like the choices where it's fully orange, fully purple. Then we've got the grays and the greens, and this whole page is fully colored. It was just so vibrant, and it fit the vibe of this like slasher homage, to all the slashers before. Um, yeah, it was. I was impressed, and I
Yeah,
don't
usually
always admit that.
books got to have a specific feel for that kind of coloring because Image and other small, larger small press companies, uh, somebody up the ladder has decided that that kind of coloring, we like it. Why? Unless it has a specific feel. And Exquisite had all kinds of texturing, great
Hmm.
use of shadowing and, foreboding in there. And, it hit all the markers. Where other books would be like, yeah, we're just coloring like this. I go, because it's cheaper. And the person doing it has only colored with the uh the short fat stack of Crayolas in their
Right,
drawer.
right.
Like, I mean, I can say that, but
No, yeah,
you know,
and it's and when you look at coloring, lettering, all those things are in most people's eyes unsung and like not even noticed. And there's that running joke that if you have bad lettering, anyone can notice, but a great letterer, no one notices, and that's a good thing. Like when it be when if someone you can get to letter to the book to actually you know be a part of it and not just something that's on the page with it. And then like coloring, even for a book like mine where it's mostly black and white, like you said, the shades, that those are all different colors, even in that spectrum. And then you got like Exquisite Corpses that has certain panels, like every single panel that was with the rich people partying, it's always that fluorescent magenta, that like vibrant pinks and purples, and it just sets the tone for that's the party they're having. They're having a freaking wild party. It just fits, and there's a lot of times people don't even look at notice things like that, and then you get
because
like book like
they're
Exquisite. It's like,
basically in a private nightclub, and those are the lights going off everywhere in
yep,
the club.
it's beautiful, so well
You
done.
know, so we've been talking about everything, but since you brought it up, um, let's talk lettering
Okay.
because while I was reading the books, I had, and granted, I'm reading it on a tablet, so it's much smaller than, a standard floppy is.
Hmm.
So I would have to enlarge it a little bit
Yeah,
because if you're reading a digital copy of it,
it's
the
rough.
lettering gets a little muddy. So
Yep.
you just have to expand your screen. But then he started like changing changing fonts like in the book and different coloring, and it just it struck me like I needed to strike somebody
So it's definitely a risk what we did. That was by design. I wanted the text to be coded to an individual. So if later on they're off the panel and they say something, people who pay attention will be like, almost like if you're watching on a movie screen and you hear someone off panel, if you can recognize the voice, you know who it is. So I kind of made this call, and I will say this, that I 150 billion% agree that on the digital it's rough. But when in the physical, because I we went to print for issue 2 where we took these bold swings with these letters, and I gotta tell you, I was worried because I've had a couple people say that, like, listen, there's a couple parts here where it's really hard to read and I have to really blow it up. And I'm like, shit, I already went off to print. Ah, damn. And then, like I said, I lucked out that on the page, it actually looks really good. I am 100% throwing myself at the mercy of the comic gods because it does in the on the PDF. It doesn't do it justice at all. And then you have on the page, it actually looks good, and it kind of is what I envisioned, not what we saw in the PDF so much. But yeah, because I wanted it to be clear who was talking, even if they're not on the in that panel, and I wanted like the tones, the tones to be like for the character individual. So yeah, that's definitely, and I might pull back on that a little bit because, like I said, I've had quite a few people saying the exact same thing, so I can't be the only one that's right. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely, it was intentional with this issue. And like I said, we'll see if moving forward how far, because I did a little bit in issue 1 as well. Like the two main characters, they had different text. One was a little bit more softer, one was a little bit more visceral, one was like a dark purple, one was black, you know. So I kind of toyed with it a little bit, but I really like went for it in issue 2, and we'll see how much I keep it moving forward. But yeah, that was a one of those swings, and almost I consider that one like a pop fly, like I a sacrifice fly. Like it didn't get, it wasn't a home run, but it got a little bit of the job done, especially the physical.
As I'm reading it, I'm like, man, I think this letter has ADHD.
No, well, I don't know if he does, but I do. So I'm the one who's
Well,
saying.
now it makes sense.
I was one of saying this is what we have to do. But yeah, definitely.
So I was planning on playing the trailer, except the trailer's only 7 seconds long.
Yes.
So
So the trailer really just kind of just shows all the covers and a couple images. But Here Walks Monsters is basically, you know, what happens if the zombie apocalypse happened to us. Issue 2 is what's live on Kickstarter right now. There are some versions of issue 1 available in this Kickstarter because the actual regular A, B, and C covers and the blanks are all gone. So like I do have some of the MegaCon exclusives, some of the New York City Comic Con exclusives, the SuperCon exclusives from this year for issue 2 on there as well. But yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky. Most people need hundreds and hundreds of backers to even be this close. I had a rough day. This week has not been kind to my Kickstarter. I lost like 5 backers. People adjusted their things. I'm like, man, I'm never gonna hit this. And I was talking to one of my other backers, and they said, "Why don't you go refresh it now?" And they upped their backing to get it at where we are now, where we now have hit 2 of the stretch goals, free stickers, free bookmarks, upgraded to cardstock covers for all the issues now too. And then once we hit the 3,000, which is the overall requirement for the campaign to be successful, there's also gonna be signed prints that come with everyone's order for free. I'm also trying to. I got a buddy who does laser engraving, so I'm trying to actually get some laser engraved stuff too for free giveaways if we hit this. We got 7 days. I mean, I think we definitely have a shot now. Definitely didn't have a shot a few days ago when I was looking at it being at 60% funded, and then people dropping like flies.
well, I'm looking, I'm like, you're like only a couple of $100 away from hitting goal of $3,000 with only 2 dozen people.
Well, because a lot of the people that have backed it are backing it at the vendor level, so they're getting 20 copies so that they can sell. There
Oh
was
yeah.
people who
See,
are
that's always a
getting,
good thing.
and then like I also have ways that you can get into the book. Like you can become a character in the book. You can become a zombie. You can get your logo in the book. So those are all more expensive. Like the average, I have it pulled up right here. The average backer for my campaign is $115 per pledge. That's the average. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I could get some of these like regular, just one issue people, like I just want cover A. You know what I mean? I'd be set. I've got the big buyers, the big backers. I just need a couple of stragglers who are like, oh, this seems cool. Let me go ahead and back this.
We just need a couple of normie George A. Romero fans.
Right? And I think like my running joke now is I'm be like, hey, tell your comic book shop, I need 2 comic shops to back it at the vendor level, and we're good to go. That's it. But yeah, so these are the 2 covers. That's cover A. Martin, the interior illustrator, did both of these covers. Like the cover A for issue 1 is very similar. It's a different red zombie face. So
Yeah,
like all the
yeah,
cover
seen
A
it. Yeah.
are gonna have this kind of motif, and I'm hoping that we'll have to go to second prints. So we'll have the same cover but with a green with a green zombie, with a blue zombie. However many prints we have to go to, but that's down the road,
Zombie version of the Spider-Man webhead cover.
right?
You know the one I'm talking about.
Yep. See, no, the Gleason one.
Yeah.
See, I when I first thought of it, I was thinking more along the lines of the first appearance of Dr. Aphra in that Vader series.
Yeah.
Like that's where my mind went immediately. That's green, blue, purple is the ones I would definitely make. And then for the cover B, and something, it's hilarious when Martin comes up with a cover B. We always kind of like it more than cover A, but we've already decided what cover A's will look like.
Well,
So
when it's an X-Men homage, it's tough to go wrong.
yeah, and I think he absolutely like he got the soul of that cover without it being a carbon copy. And that's the thing. Anytime we do any homages, we never do carbon copies. Like we would do like inspired by, like the MegaCon exclusive we did a few years ago. It's inspired by the Doom video game cover. It's not exact, but it's inspired by, even with the logo. But yeah, and that's the thing. There's so many great covers, especially in that Uncanny X-Men run, that like nobody homages. But we have 10,000 of the ASM 300. We're soon to have 1,000,000 absolute Batman homages. You know what I mean? Like there's so many covers that deserve this kind of love. And when I saw it, because I actually, one of my folks' good friends, she sent me her deceased brother's old comic books, and it was like almost the entire like run of that part of Uncanny X-Men. It's not all of them, but it's quite a bit of them. And I'm scrolling, I'm rolling through them. I'm like, well, and then I see that cover. I think it's 224 if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, damn. And I literally was like, oh God, and got my phone. Was like, Martin, I got it. I know what cover B is. We're doing an homage to this. He's like, oh hell yeah, let's do this. And he kind of did the rest. I came up with the idea and he executed it.
Like, dude is cosplaying as Mando, and he's borrowed Lucille, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
so what's crazy is because like these 2 people are like real people in real life, and they're vendors who actually, like, the guy who dressed up like Mando, he literally makes real steel Mandalorian armor and goes to conventions and sells them.
oh
The
wow,
other guy, he makes real Lucille bats that are like real barbed wire, real nails, real Louisville sluggers. And I remember like when it was at MegaCon a few years ago when I met both of them for the first time, like in person, and then like I would see like cosplayers with like foam stuff that are paying just as much, because his Lucille at the time was like $200, and it was a real bat, real barbed wire, and then two booths down was a guy selling a foam one that's limited edition for 350. And I was like, man, if something really happened, those people would be in a lot of trouble. And I was like, wait a minute. Oh man. And that's where I went and ran. And I think I wrote like almost the entire scene in the convention that night. It just hit me like a lightning bolt, like, oh yes, we got this. Let's go. Because they would survive. A real steel armored, like with real bats, they have a chance. All these cosplayers who just have foam, like cosplay approved costumes, they're going down, man.
Well, I saw a video from a guy that makes armor, and because of the Doom movie, um, he's been making chromium gauntlets that look like Dooms, and they're all like super padded on the inside, and all the fingers move, even the thumbs. And then he sets up a wall of cinder blocks and actually punches through a cinder block with one of these, takes his hand out, and
Perfectly fine.
he sell. I go, I need a pair of those
No, it's
because
and
every
stuff
once in a
like that's so
while
cool.
my Pitsky gets a little uppity and just it goes, well, if I can't go and play with my boyfriend across the hall, I'm going to play with you violently.
As I see fit.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Overstimulation on a 2-year-old Pitsky when you yank the squeaky toy out of her mouth.
See, and that's one thing I'm happy. My dog is freaking about to be 11 years old. He don't got time for all that playing around no more. He gets up, walks around, drinks some water, and goes and lays back down like true old man. Like I was like, I love it. Yes,
I move around like an 11-year-old dog.
right. I mean, he still thinks he's a puppy. Every time he sees a little dog, he goes jumping around like crazy, and then he like can barely move for like a day and a half. It's funny as hell. He forgets. He just literally is like, huh, okay, I see puppy. I now puppy. No, no, no. You're still old, bro. You're still old. You're gonna feel this in the morning. Like,
Yep. I gotta say, props to the 1980s window box.
we've so every one of our covers has a window box, but like that one, we went back and forth to get that right because I wanted it to be I wanted you to feel 80s. Like everything about this cover, I wanted it to be that correct. Like it wanted to feel right. Like that, we do. Every one of our covers has a corner box. I think it's a lost art in comics these days. I miss them. I think it should be on every cover, but not every cover needs it. I understand, but I'm a big fan. So whenever we get a chance to do them, we kind of try to like make them worth not only like for us because we're gonna do it anyways because we want them there to be honest, but like we kind of want it to like have a reason to be there, and like that one, it just fits. That's perfect. I freaking love it.
White and red.
Yep. And like so what really sucks about printing and making comics is if you have any other color besides white, black, and gray, you pay for full color.
Yeah.
So moving forward, there are going to be some little things here that are colored. You know, like early in issue 2, there's trees in the background, in the distance. There's slight shade of green. You know, just to add a little bit there. Some of the lettering when it's like when someone's cursing, that's red. You know, but we're gonna try to incorporate a little bit more color here and there for like dramatic effect. Because I mean, we can use it. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna use it
Since you're paying for it
sparingly.
anyhow.
Exactly. But yeah, I definitely wanted like when it comes to this issue, getting it to feel more like our world. Like, and if you look closely, like at all of the different characters in the backgrounds of everything of the convention scene, it's real people. Like, there's not just like the big strong perfect cosplayers. There's obese people, there's short people, there's tall people, there's like what a comic book convention would be, just an assortment of different types of people all coming to do the same thing, have fun, and in my case turn into zombies and die.
said I was a beast. No, she said you were obese. Oh, okay. Because I see somebody that looks like I go, see, I know the moobs are making the Bizarro logo a little funky because
So
that would be a suable offense. So
e-
it's just a
exactly.
random thing.
That is supposed to be a regular Superman logo, but
Oh,
because it's folded in all the right places, it doesn't look like a superhero. So Superman, so I can't get sued. But like that's one thing. Another reason why I did it on an Earth like ours and not ours. The kind of way the law works is if it's understood that it's not real, and it's that person is not it's a joke or it's some kind of parody, it's
the
it's
parody
okay.
law, yeah.
It's okay because you're no normal person would think this to be real, so that is how I my extra layer of escapism when it comes to potentially getting sued. I make sure that we don't have anything specifically copywritten like that, but like when we kind of want to insinuate, we like manipulate it just enough. So
So we can get away with it.
right.
Because I know one of the guys from Parody Press, Don Chin, who was the co-creator of Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters.
Okay.
And it was he was he's done a bunch of spoofs and parodies over the years here and there, and he did one called X Farce,
Mhm.
um, and he did that. He did the Black Belt Hamsters as a spoof, obviously on the Turtles.
Right.
It was supposed to be kind of like a one-time thing, and then Eclipse reached out to him
Okay.
and said, "We won't publish it, but we'll distribute it for you. You have to come up with the money to publish the book yourself." Well, his parents, being the great parents they are, lent him the money for it. And when the orders started rolling in from Eclipse, a parody of the Turtles, but radioactive black belt hamsters, issue one sold over 55,000 copies.
Wow. Wow. It's amazing.
And something even weirder is a great talent that just passed away recently, Sam Keith, put his artistic teeth on that series.
Mm. See, and that's my running joke is because sometimes people look at this book and wonder why it's $10, wonder why it's not like in every comic book shop. Well, it's because I am doing this all on my own, and when you don't order tens of thousands of copies, it's more expensive to print them. That's one.
Yeah.
And I don't have a publisher behind me, but like pushing it out. You can't just, tell your comic book shop, hey, it's in the Lunar catalog, go grab it. So any promotion, anything like that, it's all me. And I have been putting everything I have into this series to get it out. And my running joke is like, all right, now, yeah, with the shipping, it'll probably cost you about $17 for one copy. But if you go back in time right now and go buy a Walking Dead #1 signed by Kirkman for $17, would you not? Would you not? You'd probably buy every single one off the shelf to bring
And
it
and
back
then
and sell.
then I would turn around and sell them and buy a house.
Exactly. So listen, take a chance. It's $17. I know, and trust me, I'm not sitting here and saying it's only $17. Anyone can do it. Times are rough, man. I get it. And I'm not expecting everyone to back it, even, especially because not everyone likes horror. I get that. But if you like horror, if you like zombies, if you like The Walking Dead, but with like the realism of The Last of Us, with like the kind of tone and characters that are in the Romero flicks, you're gonna want to take a check out Here Walks Monsters. Issues 1 and 2 can we get on the Kickstarter right now for issue 2. We are I think it's like 200 something dollars away from being fully funded. And once that happens, I mean, we're ready to go. This isn't like a lot of other Kickstarter projects where you'll have to wait months and months and months and months and months because the product is still being made. I've already went to print on issue 2. I have I did the SuperCon exclusives for a convention already this month. So all it takes is to completely fund it, and I'll be off to print the second they send me the money because I already got everything set up with the print shop. I'm ready to go. We're gonna get these churning and burning back as soon as humanly possible. Um, got a week left and just a little bit left to go.
Well, I'm glad that you have a week left because when you go on Kickstarter, the first thing you get is this yellow ribbon across the top that says Kickstarter's
Yep.
website and apps will be down for scheduled maintenance in 3 days. You won't have access to them for 45 minutes. We apologize for any inconvenience. You know,
I just hope it's only 45 minutes.
sounds like it's going to be more like 3 or 4 days.
It definitely feels like what it's saying, yeah. And listen, that would be my luck. Like I started to like when I we're getting closer to the end here, I was getting worried. I'm like, man, we're not gonna hit this. And then I'm like, and of course, like the last week is straight up the same weekend as San Diego Comic Con. No one's spending a dime on my book. like, like that hit me. I was like, son of a gun. Damn, I did not.
They've already moved their mortgage payment to the back of their payoff date so
Right?
they can go to San Diego.
That's like,
Hey,
oh
comics and
man.
tortillas.
Hey, what's up? Thank you. But yeah, I definitely, like I said, I when I realized that the last week is pushing right up against San Diego Comic Con, and then everyone coming home from San Diego, I was like, oh man, I gotta make sure there's no big dates coming up next time I try to run one of these.
Yeah. You have to pull up the convention
Right.
list and see what's going on where. If it's if it's San Diego, C2E2, or New York,
I ain't running nothing.
hold, hold it off.
I'm going and putting my feet up and letting those dates pass.
So some friends of mine that also have a zombie comic book.
Ooh.
Um, I don't know if you heard the buzz over like the last 10 years. Uh, there was somebody that was and it's a parody book, but they're both creators are actually in the book. Um, and Robert Kirkman spent 3 years trying to sue them out of existence
Wow.
because originally it is now called Poking with the Dead.
Okay.
It was originally called something else that I can't repeat because lawsuits and all.
Right.
But it sounded more like a parody of his big moneymaker.
Right.
So he kept trying to sue them.
Whew.
So the premise of this book is is Ben and his partner are working in a head shop, and the zombie apocalypse breaks out. The only thing that stops them from wanting to eat your brains in this book is letting them eat your weed because it turns their brains back normal again.
Oh my god. You know that.
But then
It's
when
interesting.
you're out of weed, they want to end you and eat your brains again. Um, they went through and they're friends with Bill Diamond, who has a production studio. He's done like a lot of stuff. He's worked with Jim Henson in the past and a whole bunch of other things. And they've actually made episodes of this book. It's a full prose novel. It's a comic book series, and it's episodic like mini movies.
That's awesome.
Uh, Opposed to Lucille, they have something. Uh, they have something else. It's a 6 foot bong with spikes and nails that go through it,
That's awesome.
and yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that out. You have to send me the information for that because that sounds right on my alley.
it is called. They've got, of course, because everybody has one. They've got a podcast called Still Token,
Still token.
and the book is Token with the Dead, and they are much like Mel Brooks in his Star Wars spoof. They are strong with the Schwartz in the merchandising.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
They can usually be Ben can usually be found selling his wares at any weed festival in the world.
Could be a worse could have a worse gig. Just saying.
Yeah, it could be worse, and he's got a real job. So this is just like kind of like their side gig, but
Right.
um, and they've had they do something they did something very different with the comic, which is um they changed the artistic team every issue and brought
Mm,
on fresh talent to give them, to give new people a chance to, have something published.
that's pretty awesome.
And they would also reach into a pool of people that they became friends with on the convention circuit that were pros to do variant covers.
See.
They've got a Joe Rubenstein cover, um, and a few other named people. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the biggest name I have a Jamie Tyndall exclusive.
Oh,
Jamie Tyndall and Jason Metcalf. Those are probably the two
oh,
biggest
I know
names.
Jason. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got some. I'm
yeah.
working on it. That's the thing. I mean, and as a independent creator, who anything that happens, whether it's a convention I attend, the cover I get, it's all because I did the legwork and found a way to make that happen. I don't have all of the connections, to like dive in and get like some huge name artists to work on my covers. But little by little, hopefully, we can increase that, name recognition and be able to get those bigger names because I feel like this book has a chance to, be something special if we can just get into enough people's hands, and enough people asking for it. Definitely think it could be some worth keeping going.
Special is in good, not as in I need a hockey helmet when I get on the bus.
Well, I mean, this is a zombie apocalypse. You might want to grab the hockey helmet and get on the bus as well.
Yeah.
But correct.
There's got to
And
be
that's
somebody that's got bad eyes that's swinging something looking like Lucille. You might want the extra protection.
even if it's just from your playing days, grab that baseball helmet. It will come in handy.
Very much so. Well, dude, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and let me poke the bear.
Well, my pleasure, and and I've one thing I definitely pride myself on is the ability to not only accept criticism, but also use it in a proper way. Because I literally, like, multiple people have said the same thing. They've all read it digitally, and I was terrified. And like I said, the print, it looks so much better, and I'm lucky that it is that way, so I don't have to first go back to the drawing board again before we go to the first official print. Um, but yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, being an indie creator, but without having that supportive publisher, without having a marketing team, without having masses and masses of followers, just writing something and creating it pretty much for the love of the game. Because I don't know if you guys know, but you don't get rich writing comics unless you're Todd McFarlane or Stan Lee. For the most part, we all broke. So
Even people
I'm
that you wouldn't think would be broke, like some fairly big names that are in the indie community now themselves. I mean, they don't have it. It's not like they're going to be homeless tomorrow or anything,
right.
but I mean, they're working their ass off to put out, you know, and a lot of these guys are doing, graphic novel size stuff. So it's like, 90 to 150 pages.
And then like 5 or 6 covers on top of that for different people and deadline. Like some of these, it's
Doing all the fulfillment yourself. Yeah.
it's a lot, man. And and like you said, it is easier. It's more easier now than it ever has been. To actually get them into existence, but to get them in enough hands where you're not losing money. To send them out and create something that you're proud of. It's not easy to do that still. And I am very lucky that I've been able to do what I've done so far and kind of keep moving forward, trying to make sure I don't have a year between issues like I did this last time, because it definitely hurt the momentum of the book. So we're definitely trying to move faster. But good art you don't want to rush, and that's kind of been my mantra with this whole thing.
The- I had the opportunity to talk with a bunch of creators like over the years. I've been doing this for like 5 years now. And a couple of guys that I've had on, um, actually, one guy's got like two series, one like main series called Alpha Dogs.
Okay,
And
yeah.
yeah, and he just got picked up uh about 4 or 5 months ago from Source Point Press, where they're going to distribute, his books in just trades, so like a complete arc. And
Hmm.
he's got Dime Store Detective and Alpha Dogs, and a friend of mine, local artist Frankie B. Washington, and his writer Matt Blair have been for well over a couple of years now, have been doing a series called Kaijus and Cowboys.
Okay.
So it's big giant monsters and big giant robots, which is his favorite thing to draw
Right.
and design. Um, I just got issue 8 in the mail yesterday for fulfillment, and they just got picked up, and they had two exclusive distribution covers made, and you can now like order like issues 1 through 8 with special covers uh through Lunar.
Right.
And he's had a handful of stores that carried them, that have contacted them and been like, we sold out, like,
That's
you know
awesome.
25 copies of book nobody's ever heard of. And they're like, well, it's a niche market too. Kaijus, you can either read Godzilla versus everyone in the Marvel universe again.
Or every universe at this point. There's so
Yeah,
many Godzilla crossovers right now. It's not even funny.
yeah. And it's like, damn you, Disney. Um, or you can read something original, and it's catching on. I've been reading it, and it's been a blast. Probably because I know the guys,
Mm,
so it's more fun to read a book when you actually know the creative teams, like you've met them in person before, and you've got
yeah.
like a more of a connection. It's like I got a new book. Oh, cool. Where is it? Well, I sold out.
Oh, you sure you don't have one in the back somewhere?
You know, um, and I know I spoke of them earlier in the podcast, but a great place digitally to put your stuff after you get a certain amount of issues out, and you put like one at a time there, is Global Comics has
Yeah.
a huge indie comics platform.
No, I have to admit I've been slacking on that because I know people who have just done one issue. They've put their one issue up on Global, and there's a lot of things that I need to improve on. I absolutely know that. Um, and it's a learning process. This is my second ever comic book issue I've ever created, and I think issue 2 is leaps and bounds better than issue 1, and what I've got written for issue 3 is leaps and bounds better than issue 2. So I feel like if you hop on this train now, and get in at the ground floor, you're not gonna regret it, because I feel like we're just gonna keep getting better and better with each issue. And I can only imagine what because this is I plan this to be a very long ongoing series. I can only imagine what it's going to be when it hits issue 100.
Like we used to do a my podcast partner passed away a couple of years ago, and him and I used to do a show, and because we were old, we called it "Okay Boomer." Neither of us are boomers. Well, he's no longer with us. He
Right.
passed from stage 4 leukemia a couple of years ago. But we used to do like golden, silver, bronze, and copper age books. Like we'd read like a book a week, sometimes a couple of issues, and we'd go through it, you know, flipping through it on the screen and talking about it and the art and everything. And we had a blast, but there was just so many books and so little time.
Yeah.
And the last thing we did, because the evil mouse had announced that they were going to do Born Again from Daredevil. I said, let's do Born Again before Disney fucks it up. And we did. And did they? Yeah, they changed the whole story around to fit different things. They put new characters in that never existed anywhere in the Marvel universe.
Right.
And I'm like, see, you just can't do it. I mean, I understand changing a bunch of stuff because things aren't going to look good on screen. Like 20 years ago, it made sense for the X-Men to be all in black leather opposed to neon spandex.
Right.
And now they've got different things they can do, and it it looks better. Goofy, but it looks better.
Right.
Uh, Also, the only thing I'd like to point out about that is spandex is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah. Not every
So
character should be in it.
if you weigh over 125 pounds, you should stay as far away from spandex as I should from an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Can't be comfortable either. Just saying.
No, you know, you're gonna have to do a running sequence, and next thing you're gonna be singing soprano because it's right up there, and then you're gonna hear, like, "Ooh, I ripped my pants."
Right. Cut. We had to start over. Damn it.
Wardrobe, makeup, let's go.
We need a touch up and touchdown.
So all the best of luck. Hopefully everything pans out. You only need a couple of $100 now.
Yep, I definitely think we're gonna get there, but it's still gonna be probably the most stressful 7 days of my life. Right. I'm glad that I stopped biting my nails because I probably would not have any. I'll be down in the nail beds by now if that was
Yeah.
the case. But thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It's always good to talk comics, not just about my book. But yeah, if you guys are interested, Here Walks Monsters issue 2 live on Kickstarter now. Like you said, we only need a couple $100 more. Every little tiny bit counts as an indie creator. Yeah, that's if you like zombies, I'm your guy.
Go check it out. The link is in the description. It's been going across the bottom of the screen if you're watching us on YouTube. Uh, when it goes onto Rumble and the other platforms, you'll see that at the bottom of the screen or in the description of the episode for Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I went from taking 6 months off to I did one last night and another one tonight. I might just sleep the whole weekend. Who knows?
Well, I have to do an interview for my podcast tomorrow. I would sleep all weekend, to be honest with you.
After you wrap and do that funny editing thing that some people like to do. Not me.
I'll sleep for 5 days, call off of work. Hey, by the way, I edited too hard over the weekend. I can't come in. I'm sorry.
Zombies go nom nom.
That's the clip of all clips right there. The zombies go nom nom.
All right,
Oh,
man.
man.
Kyle, great meeting you. And
Same here.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
And
sounds good.
congratulations hitting that high with 24 people.
Right. It's an accomplishment. I've got a lot of people who believe in me a lot more than I believe in myself sometimes. So it's good to have the right people around you.
Well, go with those people.
Right.
Don't listen to the voices in your head. Listen to them.
That's not what they said.
Exactly. Something like that.
Oh,
Everybody,
man.
thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Go check out the campaign. If you're into zombies, back this. You can get the first 2 issues. And some goodies. Some merchandising.
Forget about it.
And we'll see you next time right here on the outlet.